tribe, we get together on a weekly basis to discuss life things. Okay, some of you guys know, you've been to some of my classes. In this process of chiropractic and learning how your body heals, it's about getting more life for you. It's not about healing and feeling. It's about increasing your opportunity to live the life that you were designed to live. I'm going to break that down for you. We get this amazing opportunity to come together, and when we come together, magic happens. Like, I totally, profoundly believe that, okay? Yes, you can watch the classes on Facebook. Yes, you can watch these classes on YouTube. But when we sit together and we come together and we connect, our cells mingle, my voice sends frequencies into your brain differently than it does on TV. So it means more to you. You got to know that to be true.
That is true.
So I so appreciate you guys coming in here and taking your time.
We appreciate you.
Thank you. Well, that means, this is going to be great together because we appreciate each other. Okay, Aligned for Life. I'm just going to drop the ball right now. I'm just going to throw it all down because I know it goes through people's heads when they come to a chiropractor. I have been doing this long enough to know exactly the way a patient thinks. And quite frankly, there's nothing wrong with that. All right? I've heard this so many times, and I think I want to keep hearing it because people are asking the right questions now. Doc, I don't want to go to a chiropractor because I don't want to keep going. Or I don't want to go to that chiropractor because he wanted me to keep going. I've heard this. I've been sitting at tables with high-end executives in Bend having dinner together, and there's a quiet minute, and someone, hey, are you one of those chiropractors that makes people come for life? With a whole bunch of really high executive people in Bend, and I'm thinking, how the heck am I going to answer this? I'll tell you how I answered it after this class. Okay? I'll tell you how I answered at the end of class, and everyone was speechless. Okay? And I was like, wow, I don't even know where that came from. Okay? On your piece of paper, turn it over. I want you to write down a couple things. Number one, I want to write down what is most important to you in your life. You don't have to write a book. Just write down jot a couple things down. What is most important to you in your life? So just jot down a couple things that are most important to you in your life. I'll wait another second for people to stop writing. Yeah, just play along with me. Play along with me. Okay, number two, what are things that you do on a regular basis that you think you should do for a lifetime? What are things that you do on a regular basis that are things that are worth doing for a lifetime? And number three, you guys can keep going on number two. You guys are still writing. Things that you think that you should do for a lifetime. And number three, what is the opposite of love? What do you guys think the opposite of love is? Write down one word, 2 words, couple words. What is the opposite of love?
Life.
What is the opposite of love? L-O-V-E.
Oh, okay.
Love. What's the opposite of love? These are the 3 questions that came to me this morning as I was preparing for this class. I said, let's just start out by asking a couple questions, and let's see how this thing goes. All right? I work with coaches. Right? I tell people all the time. I'm like, yeah, I work with coaches. I have a relationship coach so I can stay married to my wife forever because I think that's really important to me. I work with a coach, fitness coach. Like, that's really hard to do. To surrender all of your weaknesses to someone else and do what they tell you to do in the gym. Okay? I work with a financial coach. I work with a business coach. Yeah, that's like a lot. It's overwhelming for me sometimes. Sometimes, people are like, do you want to just get on with what you're supposed to be doing and stop asking for help from all these people? And here's the reason why I did it. Because I learned at a very young age as a doctor and as in business and as a husband that disciplines lead to freedom. All right? That's really what this whole talk is about, is that disciplines lead to freedom. Okay, I know that it sucks waking up and going to the gym in the morning and I struggle with this. I'm human. Okay, I know that I have to wake up at 4:30 in the morning to make it to the gym. I have to, or else I won't make it. Because, before I show up to the clinic at 7 in the morning, I have to work out. I have to do my daily readings. I have to pray. I have to give my wife a kiss. I have to, make her coffee. I used to make her breakfast every morning, and now I have a baby. I have to be there for the baby. I have to help my wife with the baby to get the baby ready. There's no way I'm making it here unless I'm up at 4:30 in the morning to go to the gym. And it's really, really hard. Okay? Also, it's really hard for me to, go to my financial coach and and just lay it all out. Because I hate looking at my numbers. Okay? And the reason I hate looking at my financial numbers is because I'm a doctor, my wife's a doctor, and we have 2 doctor's debts for school. Plus, her undergrad debt and my undergrad debt. You can just see how absolutely absurd this is, and how there's a reason why we're not allowed in my house to look at finances on any other day of the week except Friday. Because if I look at my finances on Sunday night, I'm going to have an awfully hard time serving my patients. Because I'm not in the right mindset. Okay? So what I'm trying to get back to is disciplines lead to freedoms. Okay? Whether it's going to the gym, whether it's eating healthy. Some of my patients who've come to my detox classes, a little bit about my fasting that I've done in the past, about my keto diet. It's hard for my family to invite me over to watch the football game and not want to indulge with some of those things that I've chosen not to. It's really hard. It's really, really, really hard. Okay, but I know that disciplines lead to freedom because I'm working on something for myself, and if I give in to those other earthly things, I'm never going to get to where I want to go. All right? Does anybody remember Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding? Thank you. Do you guys know that Tanya Harding has a bar in Sisters, Oregon? See? You learn about health, and you're learning that she owns hardtails.
That is?
Whoa!
I don't do bars, but I may have to go visit.
Okay, so what I really want to connect the dot with here is that over the weekend or last week or something, there was a special, and it was the Tanya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan special, and they aired it because we're coming up on the Olympics, and everyone remembers what happened. Dan, what happened?
She got hit in the knee.
She got hit in the knee.
Took her out.
Nancy Kerrigan got hit in the knee. She was favored to win gold.
Yeah.
There's this inside thing that really kind of smells and looks and tastes like it came from Tanya Harding.
Yeah.
But okay, so this nasty little thing. Nancy Kerrigan, best ice skater in the world, was supposed to go represent our country. She gets whacked in the knee, and they go, there is no way you're going to be ready to skate in the Olympics. And the United States Olympic team, the committee, had a hard job because they say, this woman is the best. But she was taken out. And normally, the winner of the trial gets to go to the Olympic Games. But here we have the best skater who's out. And we have the other woman who won, Tanya Harding. She's kind of a shoo-in. But could we make an exception? So they went into this whole debate. End of the story is, did they make the exception for her? Yes. They sent her to the Olympics. And they said, if you can get yourself ready, and she said, I promise you I will be on the ice. She said, I will be ready. Okay? And I'm watching this whole interview. I'm getting off topic. I'm watching this whole interview. I'm like, wow. She said, I'll be ready. And they said, how hard did you have to work? And she said, I had to work 10 times harder, 100 times harder than I have ever had to in my life. Even harder in regular training. I had to work 110% harder than everyone else because I could barely stand and walk. Well, she works so hard for months and months and months, comes back, she wins gold. Okay? Because her discipline led to her freedom, which was her goal, was to win the Olympics. And it just reminded me, this whole Tanya Harding story, it's just really a funny, interesting thing. And she said, in her own words, with 3 relays, you have to work really, really, really hard if you want to get to where you want to get to. Okay? People get healthy by choice. They don't get healthy by chance. I'm 100% positive of this. They get healthy by choice, not by chance. All right? And we have a really hard decision to make because our healthcare system right now is just got interviewed by a college student today. She said, what's going on with our healthcare system? I said, it's in a really, really bad place. Because a lot of people have been convinced, I said, most people have been convinced that they don't have responsibility for their health. Okay? We make up 6% of the world's population. We take over 50% of the world's drugs. And we rank 38th out of 40th in terms of overall health of our nation. That's a really, really, really big problem. And we spend more than most countries combined on our medical crisis intervention care. So that's a really big problem. And people are ready for another solution. So the story kind of goes on, right? Disciplines lead to freedoms, okay? And in this story of healthcare, there's something else that comes to my mind, all right? If you want to work for something, you got to play all in, okay? Lots of times I meet people and they say, I'm ready to get healthy, and I really want to do the work. And I say, look, I will go all in for you, and one thing I will always do is I'll always tell you the truth. And sometimes the truth is really, really, really hard to receive, especially if you're coming from a place of hurt. Okay? So my financial coach says to me, you guys been in practice long enough. You need to get your finances in line. You guys start knocking this stuff down. I mean, I'm being transparent with you. You guys need to get your finances in line. And I'm thinking, that's funny because the bills keep coming in from school, and I don't even open them. I just put them out of sight, out of mind. It's a dangerous place to be. Okay? Let me tell you what happened. All right? Maybe some of you have experienced this. I don't care. I'll tell you everything. When I graduated from chiropractic school and got my doctorate degree, I was just putting stuff aside. Look, I said, God, help me with this. I can't deal with this right now. I got to serve people. I can't worry about, just can't do it. I just can't do it. Okay? My student loans in 4 years of doing that went up $50,000. You believe it? Okay, this is a really, really big problem. Okay, I'm using an example for me because I know that some of you in this room have been through the exact same thing. I just don't care, right? We'll figure out. We'll deal with it. But the reality is that when you hide stuff, out of sight, out of mind is dangerous. Okay? When you ignore stuff, we've heard the analogy before. I'm comfortably in the unknown. Okay? I'm comfortable not knowing. Okay? That'll hurt you in healthcare. That'll absolutely hurt you in healthcare. If you comfortably just disengage from reality, it'll hurt you. Okay?
Ignorant bliss is another.
Yeah, that's actually where I thank you. Keep you around. Bam. Ignorance is not bliss in healthcare. No. Ignorance will lead to a very, very hard road ahead of you. Okay? Next, I've had a lot of patients who've come to me over the past 8 years of working with thousands of patients. And one thing I know, okay? If you really want to get healthy, you really have to work at it. Okay? There's going to be sacrifices. There's going to be hardships. I was just telling my last patient right before I came out here, I said, we're going to grow old together. Okay? We're going to lose people that we love together. We're going to have hardships. We're going to have financial stress. We're going to have sick kids. We're going to have sick parents. We're going to get sick ourselves. We're going to have lots and lots of unknown that's going to happen. And I tell people, I say, if you give yourself the opportunity to focus on what's most important in your life for your health, it's all going to be a lot easier. And I just look at people and they go, okay, so we can do this. If you're part of my tribe, we're going to stick together. All right? There's a really cool thing on YouTube, Dr. Jay Holder. He has a beard down to here, and he's Jewish, so he has the locks, and he wears his hat, and he's explaining a story. And he says, a lobster, you guys know what a lobster is? He said, something really magical happens. When a lobster gets to the point where it's getting really uncomfortable, it needs to find a new shell. Have you seen this before? It needs to find a new shell. The lobster shell is recycled, or you might say like a conch or a snail. Okay? The shells are recycled. All right? One lobster moves out, another lobster moves in. Or, a conch. One moves out and one moves in. That's why you find them. It's vacant. Temporarily vacant for the next one to move in. They start really small and then they go into a bigger one. And something magical happens. Just before the lobster decides to leave its shell to go to a new one, it reaches the maximum point of discomfort. Okay? Here's another analogy. A seed. Inside a seed, it has a very hard kernel. And inside of the seed is magic. It's the innate expression of life to turn an itty-bitty tiny seed from a pine cone into a 300-foot tall ponderosa pine tree. There's an expression for life into that seed that does something magical that we can't even comprehend with our little human brain. Okay, because it's bigger than us. And for that seed to grow, it has to be in the perfect environment, and that outer shell that's been protecting the innate expression of magnificent life potential, it has to break. And when it breaks, it can release that power. Why am I telling you this story? Because I've been around this town and other towns and around the world taking care of people, and I know one thing is always happening in my clinic and in other chiropractors' offices and other medical people's offices. People give up right before they have their breakthrough. All the time. Okay? And I tell people, I say, look, this has been going on for 10 years. You told me. It's been going on for 10 years. You told me you had that injury and it's been going on for 10 years. We have degeneration. I say, this is not going to go away overnight. Okay? And they say, Doc, I'm all in. I say, it's going to take 6 months to a year to start unwinding this process. Okay? And stuff gets hard. Money gets tight. Life gets in the way. Time becomes challenged. Vacations come up. And people come in. I see this all the time. And they say, Doc, I got to take a break. Or, I don't feel any pain. I think I'm done. And I go, okay, help me understand this. And they say, well, I'm not feeling any pain anymore. Or, Doc, I've been at this for 4 months now, and I'm getting better, but I'm not getting the results that I was really hoping to get. And they stop. And I say, I tell everyone this, I say, my experience tells me that most people stop right before they have their breakthrough. Sometimes inches before they have their breakthrough. Sometimes breakthroughs happen in 1 week. I just adjusted a patient today. He couldn't walk. I adjusted him once. He stood up and he remember his mom was crying. Sometimes miracles and breakthroughs happen instantly. And I have other patients, they don't have their breakthrough for 2 years. I could line them up here. They could tell you all their stories. And they say, I didn't fully get my life back after I've been working on this for 2 years. I say, it's fine. It's not a bad thing. We got to get started. The hardest step for me was laying out my finances and going, holy cow, is it possible that someone could have that much? Holy crap. That's really hard to do. And for my patients, that's really hard for you to surrender to someone like me, because I'm not going to take shortcuts. I'm going to take x-rays. I'm going to do nerve scans. I'm going to do muscle tests. I'm going to do everything. And I'm going to sit down with you and I'm going to lay it out. And I'm going to go, hey, here it is. The average person that comes to me is between 40 and 50 years old, is 40 to 50 pounds overweight, and has 2 to 3 degenerated subluxation joints and discs in their spine. That doesn't happen overnight. I tell you, this story is not going to be resolved overnight. Okay, it's going to take some time, and I'm so connected to my patients with that transparency to know that it's really, really, really hard to have someone like me sit down with you and say, I'm going to tell you the truth. You need to get to work here. These things, they didn't happen overnight. It's been going on for 30 years. Your body's breaking down. We can put it back together, but we have to take the first step. We don't have to look at all the debt, but let's just look at one little piece and let's start saving 10% a month, or 10% a week, or 10% a paycheck. The hardest part is the first step. Okay? And in this healthcare story, the hardest part is, man, I say, if someone walks in my door, it's a miracle. Because I know what you're up against. You've probably drove by 4, 5, 6 dozen chiropractors to get here. I know that the people who drive from Redmond go by probably 30 chiropractors to get here. I think it's a miracle that you showed up. Okay? You've made it through the medical system. You've either asked for something different, or maybe that system didn't work for you. Or maybe you had a bad experience with that system. You've been to physical therapy. You've been to other chiropractors. You've been on antibiotics. Your kids have been through the system. Your kids have had plugs in their ears. I mean, you've been through a lot. I think it's a miracle you even showed up. Okay? So I'm just like, oh my gosh, another patient called that wants to get seen. That's how we roll here. I think it's absolutely amazing. Okay? And the hardest part is being willing to look at this and have someone like me to roll up my sleeves and say, I'm going to tell you the truth. This is not going to happen overnight. And the truth is, I've been around thousands and thousands of chiropractors. Deanna travels across the country with me. My team travels all over the country with me. Here's what I know. If you've had chiropractic experience, most chiropractors prescribe too little care. Because most people stop right before they have their breakthrough. Okay? Here's my analogy. It's going to make beautiful sense to you because I'm the man of analogies. My banker, she's been coming in here for 2 months. I told her an analogy today. She said, I never got it until you explained it in the words that I use every single day. I said, perfect. You get it? She goes, I get it more than I ever will. I said, great. Okay? I absolutely 100% believe, and Deanna will agree with me, I was talking to these docs all week, 2 weeks ago over in Philadelphia. I absolutely believe that if every single human got checked by a chiropractor at birth for subluxations, they're set off to win for the rest of their life. The birthing process is not a walk in the park for mom or baby. And if baby enters this world with a kink in the neck or a kink in the hose, they're never really going to, truthfully, honestly, have an opportunity to live the life they were designed to have. Fact. Neurologists won't argue that. Nobody will argue that. Except nobody's telling you that except the chiropractors. Okay? If your baby gets checked the day that they come into this world or the instant they come into this world, I checked my baby's neck within 30 seconds after that baby came out into my arms. Picked it up, put it on mom's chest. I have a picture. I'm going to hang it up. Check that baby's neck. And I did make a correction. I had to make a correction because her atlas was shifted. And it wasn't, you didn't even know what was happening. It was that gentle. I believe that if everyone gets checked at birth and they get checked once a month for life, that's good enough. Unless they have a major trauma or fall, they might need to get checked a couple more times. Okay? However, the average person shows up here, 40 to 50 years old, 40 to 50 pounds overweight, never been checked for a neurological disconnect between their brain and their body, and has 2 to 3 subluxation degenerative discs in their spine. Those things take 15 to 20 years to show up. If you drive a car, in your manual, Mel reminded this to me. I remember all these things people tell me. He said, Doc, have you had your timing belt changed? Because we have the same truck. I said, yes, I have that timing belt. He goes, did you have your differential fluid changed? Did you have your transfer case fluid changed? He's going through this list, and I'm going, yes, yes, yes. And then I go, I don't know. And he said, it's standard maintenance. You used the word. He said, Doc, it's standard maintenance. Every 100,000 miles you do these things, or else you're putting your truck in jeopardy. And I'm like, dang it, he's speaking my language. If you miss your standard maintenance on your spine, your most valuable, precious organ in your body that God designed you, and if you're a believer, great. If you're not, put in your own word. The brain sends information down through the spinal cord. If you miss your standard maintenance on your teeth, what's going to happen? You're going to have cavities and they're going to get rotten. If you missed your standard maintenance on your spine, you're going to have the exact same problems with your spine. And people say, Doc, why do you then recommend that I get checked once a week? And I say, you've missed your standard maintenance.
Yeah.
You're 40 years behind, guys. If you're 50 years old and you've missed your standard maintenance for your spine, you played football, you've been in 5 car accidents, you have 2 to 3 degenerative discs in your spine, you have pain radiating down your legs, you have disc bulges, you sat at a desk and worked your whole life, you've missed your standard maintenance. You've missed 601 necessary adjustments in your life because you missed your first one at birth and you missed your monthly checkup every month thereafter. You guys get where I'm coming from? Yeah. And I've taught thousands of people, and all I want to do is explain it in a way that you can understand, so that when when I'm sitting at the table with these high-end executives in Bend, and someone catches wind that I'm a quack chiropractor, and they want to give me that jab, baby, I'm ready. Okay? Not because I want to make them feel bad, because I want to challenge them in the same way they're challenging me, because they've not been taught to think like me. They've been taught to think from a different broken model that teaches you that this is going to save you, and it's not. Okay? Your 601 adjustments past your standard maintenance. If you want to learn, take your age, if you've never been adjusted before in your life, add 1 for birth, and multiply 12 times your age, and you'll get how far behind schedule you are. Okay, so I tell people all the time, I say, look, you're going to get adjusted once a week because you need it, number one, and number two, you've missed all your maintenance. And sometimes people say, Doc, I don't want to do that. And I say, that's okay. But remember, you hired me to tell you what you need. And I lovingly, servingly do that. And I have plenty of patients that don't follow my recommendations that are welcome to come in here as patients. I love them to death. And trust me, I tell them every single time what they need, not what they want to hear. And that's a very important step in being a doctor, being a mother, being a father, being a spouse. We need to tell people the truth. Okay? A truth is a truth what percentage of the time? 100% of the time. Okay? Nobody in healthcare will ever argue that the spine is the most important and vital organ in the body because it's connected to the brain. It's the same thing, the brain and spinal cord. Okay? And once we uncover the reality of the importance of this, it just takes a whole bunch of confusion and it just brings it right down to reality. Okay? What we need to do together is we need to move in this process one step at a time. I mean, literally, baby steps. Baby steps until we can get your body working the way that it's designed to. It's not going to heal overnight, but it's instantly going to start to heal. With every adjustment, taking pressure off the nervous system, instantly your body starts to go back to the way that it was designed to be. The student who interviewed me today, she said, "What is chiropractic?" And I said, 99% of people have no clue what chiropractic is. None. You walk around the street and ask people, zero. No clue what chiropractic is. And I say, that's really not okay. Because the more people who don't know what chiropractic is, the more people are not going to get help. Okay? Somewhere along the way, the signals got mixed up and the message got skewed. That's not what today's class is about. But it's about keeping you accountable for what's the most important in your life. All right? One step at a time. Disciplines equal freedom. And I also need to acknowledge one last thing. Most people who show up in my office, remember, I'm like, oh my God, it's a miracle. Like, every time the phone rings and it's a new patient, I'm like, I don't know how people are finding us, but they're finding us. And I don't know how this happened, but people are getting healthy. Just keep putting the message out there. Just keep telling people the truth. Keep spreading the message. Okay? Most people who show up here, they're scared. Scared. Scared because of what they've heard about chiropractic, scared about what they've experienced with chiropractic, scared because they're in pain, scared because someone told them don't go to a chiropractor, scared because they're on medication, scared because they don't want surgery, scared because they can't afford care, scared because I'm going to tell them they need adjusted more than they want to hear, scared. There's a million reasons that people are scared when they come in here. And there's one enemy of fear. You guys know what it is? Action. We talked about this today. Just get started. Just take one step. Take one step for yourself. Take one step for your child. Take one step to eliminate fear. Because when I opened that financial book up, I didn't want to look at those numbers. I still don't like looking at them. But we start massaging them out and thinking about it. We start talking about them on a monthly basis on a Friday. And all of a sudden I look at it and I go, whatever. Doesn't even faze me anymore. Okay? And my patients, I say, we got to take one step at a time. And all of a sudden, because we're creating action, the fear dissolves. You know, we talked about huge projects. Oh my God, how am I going to start this project? Oh, this floor is huge. This guy wants too much from me. And then you sit down, you pencil it out, and you start working on it. And all of a sudden, you go, I actually think I can do this. Right? And your chiropractic story is the exact same reality. We need to just get started. And when we create those disciplines, you reap the benefit. Okay? So, the 3 things that you wrote down on your piece of paper, let's go back to those. Okay? What is the most, I'm going to tell you mine. I'm not going to ask anyone to tell me theirs. Let me tell you mine. So, the most important thing in my life, my most valuable asset is my health. Okay? Because I know as a father and as a doctor and as a husband, I can't take care of anyone if I can't take care of myself. Okay? So, There's my hierarchy. If you're not a religious person, it's fine. Put something else in there. God. My most valuable asset in my life is me, my health. I come second because I can't take care of my wife and I can't take care of my baby if I can't take care of myself. That's my hierarchy. And I can't take care of my baby. I have to support my wife first. I love my baby sometimes, I think, more than my wife. But the reality is, like, I love my wife more because I need my baby to see that mom comes first for me, and before me comes God. But that's the triage. That's the hierarchy. Okay? Number 2, I said, what are the things worth doing for a lifetime? Okay? It's worth telling my wife I love her for a lifetime. It's worth building my vertical relationship for a lifetime. It's worth exercising for a lifetime. It's worth brushing my teeth for a lifetime. It's worth getting adjusted regularly for a lifetime because that is what keeps me healthy. It's worth eating healthy for a lifetime. It's worth... You see where I'm going with this? So when this high exec called me out in dinner, doc, chiropractic, whatever, he goes, are you one of those chiropractors that make people come back for life? You know what I said? I said, well, interestingly enough, I said, there's lots of things that are worth doing for the rest of my life. Like, I like eating healthy for the rest of my life. I like exercising for the rest of my life. I like loving my wife for the rest of my life. I like going to church and praying to God for the rest of my life. I like fishing. I went through this whole list. And I said, all those things are worth doing for the rest of my life. And the most important thing is that I'm taking care of myself for the rest of my life. And if I know something that is going to keep me healthy for the rest of my life, then I'm doing it for the rest of my life. And if I'm going to be transparent with my patients, I'm going to tell them the same thing. Boom. And I just said it lovingly like that. And everyone was like, can I have some more wine? Right? And I'm like, the way that we think about this model of health, it's just a little off balance. And we just need to start thinking of it differently. Okay? So yes, I'm going to tell you to do stuff for the rest of your life. If you think it's a virtue and value for you today, it's probably a virtue and value for you tomorrow. Okay? And then the last thing, what is the opposite of love? The most common answer is hate. It's wrong. Because the opposite of love is indifference.
Apathy. That's pretty close.
Indifference. And I meet a lot of people, a lot of patients come in here, and they're missing the ability to really truly connect with themselves and get back to what hopefully is most important for them, their self and their family. It's indifference. And I want to teach people, I strive to teach people how to give themselves the best opportunity to set them up to win for life, and then set their family up to win for life. I'll teach moms and dads how to take care of themselves all day before I'll teach a kid how to take care of themselves. Yeah. Because moms and dads are the teachers. Okay? We're going to start class at 6:15 in February because I don't want to rush with my last patients at the end of the day. And you guys know that something happens at the end of the day. Everything can go perfect. And the last thing before you leave the office or leave school or sign off, the last email or the last patient that shows up, it's something about the last. Sometimes there can be things that need just a little bit of tenderness. And I want to have that opportunity to have that tenderness for my last patient at the end of the day, because something happens at the last patient at the end of the day.
The unexpected.
So next week we're still going to be we're going to try our hardest to start at 6, and then we're going to 6:15. Cool? Thank you. It's your first class. Thank you. It's your first class. Have an amazing, beautiful night.
Thank you.
You guys are so welcome.
Thank you.